Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where tonight my friends and I will be playing Mothership. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is called Tartarus. It was written by Morgan Llewellyn, and he is also our warden. This is a long one-shot, so without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Morgan?
Thank you, Tom. So far off, in a remote system barely under the legal jurisdiction of the colonial union, now on the fringe, there are various mining operations. Mining is dangerous work, and it does not attract the most upstanding people. As such, the mining corporations have thought it necessary to hire a private security company, Monson Security Incorporated, to set up a prison station in the vicinity to where they can house whoever is breaking their laws or is getting a little too union-y. Monson Security set up Tartarus Station, building it within an asteroid 75 years ago, and has had little interest in spending any money on it ever since. There is barely a skeleton crew there now. The number of human personnel at any given time is about 10. The rest of the station is run by androids, the primary bulk of which are very low functioning. They do most of the grunt work, but there are a few high functioning androids on staff as well. Everybody is overworked and underpaid, and the monotony goes on and trying to keep a running old station operational. So we're going to check in with the people who are on shift currently. So we're going to just going to go around and we're going to introduce yourself a little bit and kind of explain kind of what you're doing, kind of how you spend your endless, sunless days. We're going to start with Dr. Burkoff.
Dr. Giannis Burkoff. I ended up on Tartarus because my career went sideways because of pharmacological events, personal and external, both. So, I try to stitch people back together when necessary and keep my head down. And I hope to make enough in the next couple of years to get the hell out of here.
Perfect. We'll go over to Nesbitt.
Hi there, I'm Layla Nesbitt. Disillusioned engineer and just trying to make it through another day. I landed on this heap because, well, it was love, he said. He was gonna take me away to the rim, he said. Then he dropped me off here, just jetted off, and I haven't seen the fucker since. So, but not before I probably punctured a hole in his hull that he won't discover until it gets critical. Anyway, I'm here to keep this place from killing all of us. And some days I feel like I actually want to do it.
All right, we'll go over to Dobson.
Mike Dobson, Teamster, working the maintenance, just keeping this place up and running as best as I can with what they provide. Otherwise, not too unhappy to be here. Actually, it's a room, board, everything's taken care of. Simple man, simple needs. That's about it.
All right, and now for our non-human but highly valued members of the Monson security team, we'll start with Artie.
RT Mark 7 1138X. The humans call me Artie in an attempt to humanize me, I suppose. I provide security services, keeping the staff safe from the hostiles as needed.
And Obi.
I'm Obiplex 4G1932A. The humans call me Obi. I am a general high-level maintenance robot. I do linguistics translation. I do first aid, computer repair, mechanical repair, and I can solve math, various high levels of math when they need it. I just generally try to make myself useful.
All right. As you're all going about your shift, seeing to ducks, seeing to coiling that is going bad, patrolling the halls, attending to things, organizing things, all of you get a radio call. You have little radios. And it is from Devin Monson, who is the head of the station from admin. It is the prison warden himself. Attention, active personnel. We have an anomaly report. A patrol android has cited an incident in cell C isolation 4. All available hands, please go investigate over.
These are two-way devices, I assume?
Yeah, they are two-way.
Any description of this anomaly?
No, just something out of band, outside of its programming. It would seem it doesn't know what it's looking at.
So you need human eyes on it. Over.
Yep.
I'll head that way.
All right, so to give you a sense of kind of the layout of the station, on one part of the asteroid, there's this single landing pad where ships occasionally every couple of weeks come and go. Underneath that, there's a reception area, which is able to be separated from the rest of the station, leaving everything on permanent lockdown, severing any lifeline to the outside world. Below that, it connects to security and administration, which is a kind of a ring-like structure. From there, you can get down into the heart of the asteroid, this middle sphere, which is engineering. That's where the nuclear reactor that's keeping everything running, all the water, all the oxygen, artificial gravity, the works, it's all housed in the middle. Around that, lower down, you have the prison section, which is divided into 4 cell blocks, A, B, C, and D. And also in that bottom ring, there is a wing that is being rented out to Gaia Research Group. None of you have any access to information about Gaia, what they're doing on the station, and the deck plans for that are restricted. None of you have ever been in there. They keep to themselves. The Monson security folks keep to themselves.
Are the cells organized in a particular way by...
Yeah, so the cell numbering. So C block. There are cells C001 up to 300 in each block, as well as 10 isolation in each block, which are C isolation 1, isolation 2, isolation 3. And those are used as solitary confinement if somebody kind of like a punishment, or if somebody's like sick and they don't want it to spread, they'll check them in isolation. It's kind of their, and it's the catch-all solution. If there's a problem, that just they have stick them in isolation. So,
and is Gaia in between A and B, or B and C, or is it where
Gaia is between A and D? So they form a ring. B, C, D, and then there would be an E, but that is Gaia.
Yeah, that's where Gaia is. Okay. Okay, Doc. You and me should probably go at least. Make sure that there's nothing gonna get out, or in my case, potentially kill itself in there.
Yeah. I'm bringing my kit.
Got my tools.
Yeah.
I've been on my way since the message was received. I should be arriving there in approximately 12 seconds.
All right, so we have Obi, Dobson, Burkhoff, Nesbitt is there. Artie, are you making your way there too?
Yes.
All right. So you all converge from wherever it was about on the station. And you arrive into the isolation block of C. And outside of isolation cell 4, you see there is a basic patrol android that's kind of just standing, looking at the door. There's little slits, maybe about like yay big, so you can look in from the outside, but it's kind of just staring in there.
There aren't cameras in each cell.
The cameras that work half the time. Where the feeds go, you got to navigate servers to get at things.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough skill to pull the files from the bot, so unfortunately, we're a bit stuck.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you have.
I'll approach the bot and, status report.
Anomaly detected in cell isolation 4.
Elaborate.
Unknown injury to inmate.
I am
Resume
skilled
patrol.
with
first aid.
It walks on. You don't patrol again.
I'll approach the door.
All right, so approaching the door, you're trying to look in through the glass, and it's obscured. There's like a film or something on the other side.
There seems to be something blocking the visual acuity. Are you have combat training?
Yes.
Is the material obscuring the slot? Does that look like mucus, fecal matter, blood?
It looks like blood.
Aha.
Hell.
I will open the door if Artie, you can be ready to subdue anything that tries to get out.
Appropriate weapons drawn.
So the door slides up. And you're looking into this tiny little isolation room. It's barely large enough to fit like a bed, a toilet, and a little bit of standing room. And scattered to all of the four corners, you see what used to be a person. Bits of organ, bone, scattered all about, and they're connected with all these black strands to each other, sticking outwards. And the room is just a mess of bodily fluids, blood, organs. So you could all make sanity saves.
Jesus.
How do I do that?
So you have so on your character sheet, depending on what your class is, that you have a list of saves, and that will give you a number.
Right.
And you're trying to equal or get lower than that number to kind of avoid the negative.
What do I roll? Percentile?
This is it's percentile, and this is a sanity save.
All right. I succeeded.
Yes, me too.
I got a 94.
So,
oh no.
Yeah, Obi, something about this. You're trying to think of your database of medical injuries and things that can happen to somebody, and something's not adding up. So your circuits are kind of.
My first aid doesn't cover this.
Yes. Those of you who passed, you gain 1 stress. So you all should have started with 2 stress. So you'll go up an additional stress. Those of you who failed, you're going to get 1d6 stress.
Okay.
That's 4.
Ooh, that's not good.
I got 5.
6. So that becomes an 8.
So Burkoff and Dobson are staying pretty calm. This is strange, but
all the biologics
God.
here need to mask up in case that black connective tissue was some kind of.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I've seen a mess or two, so this doesn't bother me that much. I hate that I'm gonna have to clean it up.
And Dobson, as you're looking, you're an engineer. You keep things kind of up to date. You notice that whatever happened in here, it's messed up some of the external piping into this room pretty bad. The toilet itself that leads into the water supply has been smashed, and there's like water leaking into the room. And the air filtration unit has also been worn away and pretty heavily damaged. That's also in the roof.
This shouldn't be in this level of disrepair. I mean,
What do you
I know
mean?
there's. Well, look up there. See that all that water
Oh,
damage.
shit.
That's in. I mean, what you can see past all the muck.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you have
What?
some kind of like spray foam kind of coagulating matter to block up some of these gaps before?
no, but I do have a hand welder.
Damn.
Well, those of you with engineering, you do. The station has, because getting vented out into space is very bad.
Right.
So occasionally there are these foam guns that seal things up if you spray them.
Yeah, actually, no, I've got that. Oh,
Like, it's not something you
Jesus.
hold on you, but kind of like how there are fire extinguishers every so
Yeah, yeah.
often. There are these.
hang on, let me go grab one. It
Emergency
can't be too far. Yep, here we go. I bring it in.
Nesbitt, stand by for outside threat assessment.
All right.
So I'm
Just-
going to walk in and just make sure that there's nothing other in this room aside from bits.
So
I've
you look
stepped out
in
of the
there,
room.
and it's hard to get in there without disturbing all these black strands of material that are connecting everything that's spread out against the walls. But you slip your way in, and you're scanning. You're running your diagnostic, and nothing is moving. Everything seems dead in here. No movement, no pulse.
No threat assessed. Continue.
All right. Ugh. Mask on, dodging the black crap. I'm gonna at least want to look at the toilet and the filter unit just to make sure. Let's just see, like, what type of damage, like what could have done this?
So your choice. You have mechanical repair, engineering.
I have both.
Okay, so
So-
you get to add both to your intelligence. So you take your intellect and you're going to add 25%, and that's what you're rolling against.
Okay. That's not too bad. Ha! Made it.
Yeah, so you're looking, the thing that broke the toilet, they both seem like impact damage. Like
Mhm.
something has shot down and busted the toilet downwards, and something has gone up and busted up into the air filtration.
What could have hit that hard? I say as I'm sort of sealing up the holes in the filtration unit at least.
It's like the inmate swallowed an explosive. OB, can you try to access records and find out who was locked in here?
Yes, accessing.
All right.
And I'd like Warden. Are there shoes in the room? as if
So there
The
are
exploding
bits.
person.
There are bits of cloth and things that they were wearing that are scattered amongst the material that is plastering the walls of the room. So Obi, you go to a computer terminal and you find the following.
Retrieve record cell ID C14, cell ID C14, occupant M91729482, end of cell record. Retrieve record prisoner ID M191729482, prisoner ID, the same. Name, Ichabod Livingston, sex male, residence, Hawthorne Industrial Mining Facility, X17385A71, jurisdiction, Colonial Justice Board, sentence, 10 years, kidnapping, interment date, 10/10/2155, cell C14. Or is that I14? I4.
It is I4.
Status, injured. Records, prisoner received 10/10/2155, assigned cell A185. Transfer A185, and some numbers. Disciplinary intervention, altercation in C block, food receptacle, incident ID, and so forth. Transfer to isolation ward, C086, assigned medical examination and treatment, punishment, assessment, pending, unclassified incident, incident ID, and so forth, unclassified disturbance, it should be disturbance.
Yep.
In cell C, end of prisoner record. Of course, I actually say every single letter and number.
What is the current date exactly?
So the current date is March 1st, 2156. So that was that unclassified incident in that log of the prisoner is what that android reported and what brought you here, just barely.
So he's been in isolation for quite some time.
Not exactly the pleasant sort.
Well, we're going to have to find that incident number and find out who he got into an altercation with in the dispensary, because if it's a contagion, etc. I'm going to. That was in October, wasn't it? Of last year. If that's what you said, there was a lot,
Yeah.
So looking at the dates, he was brought to the prison last October. In February, he was transferred from A block to C block on the 25th of February. So just a couple of days ago.
Oh, okay.
It was in an altercation and was transferred to the isolation ward.
And then,
Barkov, did you treat this man?
I guess not, Warden.
So you're vaguely recalling this incident now that it's brought up. He had suffered. I mean, people get injured pretty frequently, but it was knife wounds. The individual
Wounds plural.
Yeah, he received several slashing wounds.
Oh, so this might be the sort of thing where he's in isolation to protect him from an unknown number of assailants.
Yeah, so he was attacked and it was put in isolation.
Yeah, so it might matter who he was accused of kidnapping. You can forgive me for not recognizing him under the circumstances. I think that might be part of his nose. Are there any whole
assessment?
Thank you. Are there any whole organs?
Yes. In fact, as you look at it, there are only whole organs. You can give me another sanity save.
Sure. That one was not successful. How many should I add?
So that one's just going to be one additional stress. And since you're a scientist and you don't understand this, everybody else around you also gains one stress.
You're welcome. Yeah, so there are lungs, there's lymph tissue. His face is completely smeared.
Mm-hmm.
His shoes are ruined.
Yep.
Okay, Doc, I'm not a medical person, but this ain't normal, is it?
This is not normal. It's the violence of his destruction combined with the parts that are still intact is very wrong. And the damage to the physical environment. I'm gonna if I take some medical shears and prod the black strand, does it stick to things? Is it solid? Is it fluid?
It's solid and it has a bit of elasticity to it. You can press on it and it kind of bends.
All right, so I'm going to snip an inch of that on both sides and tweezer that into a test tube. I'm going to take a couple samples of this thing.
So you cut a couple of the strands, and the second they lose tension, they roll up.
Uh-huh. What does it smell like in here? Smell like a meat locker? Does it smell like?
It smells. It smells like a dead body. You get that metallic blood smell. You got all the unpleasantries that go along with it, and there's also this muskiness almost that you think is coming from these strands.
But his bowels haven't been bursted, correct? They're all intact.
Correct. The intestines, they are all pushed up and connected to the other organs.
I feel like we should just, first, if you can seal the contact with the other outside, I feel like we should just seal this whole. We should close the door and seal this up.
Agreed. Ugh.
Barkov, could there be risk to the other individuals involved in the altercation?
It's certainly worth trying to figure out if we can locate those individuals. I'm not sure that See, what did Obi, that reference number? Does it link to something?
Does it?
Yes.
There was an altercation incident number.
You can look up the incident ID.
Retrieve record incident ID I 19 38 57 39 0. Reporting staff Android. The guy with the long name. Prisoner M64591170 assaulted another prisoner in C block food receptacle, injured, punishment assessment complete, punish assessment pending. That's for each individual. So one of them is currently being punished. The other one is pending.
So 917 is the guy who blew up in here, Ichabod.
Right. And then 6459 whatever. Can you look up who that is?
This takes a bit. This next lookup, Obi, which is strange.
It seems to be the file is not easily located.
It is. You look at it is telling you that it is archived.
Archived.
And it is asking if you would like to read through the archives.
I have to go through the archives. Give me a couple of minutes.
All
Why
right.
would something recent be archived already?
That's real weird.
First assessment would be is that somebody's trying to cover something up.
Was our assailant important?
Are any of the prisoners here important to anybody?
You never know.
Not particularly.
Mike,
prisoners.
Layla, what do you think about the structural trouble here? Is this,
Whatever it was, this was smashed from above, and the the filtration unit was smashed from below. Not really an explosion, though. Just.
I think it's best to look into who he had this incident with and see if maybe he's a member of one of the gangs or something like that. He had to have pissed somebody off, and generally,
Yeah, but generally
they find ways to hurt each other. Like they're gonna if they want to do something bad. Some of the most innovative people in the world are criminals.
But do you really think anybody in here could come up with something that makes this guy blow up like this?
If there's anybody anywhere that could come up with something like that, yeah.
There is only a 20% chance that an explosive was used. There's no damage to his organs.
Oh.
It's
Nesbitt
more like he was
Dobson.
pulled apart.
Could
Yeah.
the infiltration system be compromised for this cell block?
Absolutely.
Possibly. I'd have to have a better look, but if whatever this is, if we assume it's contagious, and it could very well be, we have no way to.
Recommendation, evacuation?
Doc?
No, I don't think so yet, Doctor.
Evacuation is probably prudent, but also a big pain in the ass for everybody, and
Yeah.
involves bringing extra security in and so on. Are the isolation units contiguous, or are they spaced out around the?
So you are currently within a given block of cells, so like C block.
Mhm.
The isolation are in their kind of own little vaulted hallway that is sealed off from the rest, and it has its own filtration. It has its own plumbing.
Right.
It's almost like a system in miniature in here. So currently, it is the isolation things are fairly isolated from the rest of the prison to begin with.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to start looking at the other 9 units of C isolation to see if anybody heard anything. I don't know how many are occupied. If there's a filmy black mass coming out of the toilet, it would be worth noting.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna at least, if nothing else, completely seal. Is there anything else in here we need? Because if not, I'm still in this place up.
I don't think anybody's going to miss Ichabod's body.
So you're checking the other cell blocks, and in isolation cells 9, there is somebody else, and they are asleep.
So I'm looking through the slit with glass, and they're curled up in bed, and they're, can I see that they're breathing?
Yeah, no, they're breathing fine.
And there's no like black slime coming out of any of the corners.
Nothing that you can see.
All right, so it wasn't loud, I guess.
Would we know, like, is this a type of prison that would employ prisoners as labor within the prison, like to distribute like food or anything, or is that all?
That's all done by these low-level androids.
Okay.
So the security here is fairly tight. The prisoners who are not in isolation, like about twice a day, they're let out in different shifts to go get food and go hang out in a little space that has blue paint in it. We have to walk around, so get a little bit of exercise, but then they're back to their cells. And the non-isolation cells are not so small, but they are shared.
May Obi or Artie, you guys know if they record the feeds from the androids that do all the like low-level tasks and everything, delivering the food and checking on, like, is there a feed we could possibly check? And
I don't think they all have visual cortex.
oh, okay.
They're not very sophisticated.
I am almost complete with the archives.
And as you're saying that, your archive request comes back.
Retrieve record prisoner. Checking archive. Archive records found. Prisoner M64591700. Lloyd Everest, male. Residence, Hawthorne Industrial Mining Facility. Jurisdiction, Colonial Justice Board. 10 years, kidnapping. Also kidnapping. Interment 1010, 2155.
An accomplice, perhaps?
Maybe.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they screwed up by putting this guy in the same cell block. He was first in B and then in C.
Right. Wait a second.
This one was transferred to Gaia Research Group, permanent.
And his original cell and status is redacted.
Redacted. His ID is redacted.
So they sent him after this. They sent him to Gaia, and then he just poof, gone.
And the warden, Devin Monson, has the authorization. I'm going to close this record. It was very difficult to find. It might be that there is a tracer on it. They might know that I have accessed it if somebody's trying to hide something. Considering the sensitive nature of Gaia's work, that might be the reason why.
I don't know if it's sensitive. We know it's private. So Everest and Livingston were in they did some job together. And then once here, one of them got blown up and the other one got transferred to presumably nicer conditions. Now, this facility is renting space to Gaia. What kind of protocols do we have to go through to get any information from them at all? Or is it a total black box?
If it ain't a black box, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
So you have been told nothing about contacting Gaia. You know where the doors are to get there. You've just never had the inclination to go there because the orders from on high have been leave Gaia alone. They leave us alone. We leave them alone. So you know where access is into their facility, but you've never been on the other side of those doors.
All right. How about the other 8 cells in Isolation C? Any residents?
The rest of them are empty.
Okay.
Yeah. Once I finish sealing up I-4, I do want to have a quick look at the filtration systems for the rest of the block to make sure that nothing else could have gotten compromised.
All right. So with the station, with engineering being this kind of spherical setup in the middle, you're going to have to leave. You're basically going up through a hatch to the other side of a wall to get at the filtration units that are hooked up to these cells.
Right. Give me a sec, guys. Doing a filtration check, making sure this shit hasn't spread. Goes into hatch.
Dr. Burkhoff, if I may suggest doing a pathological assessment, see if there's some sort of germ or disease involved here. Otherwise, we don't need to quarantine.
Yeah, thanks, Obi. What in terms of GUGA's diagnostics portable scanners, do I have to take this tissue somewhere to look at it closely, or could I use my Monson phone to look at it microscopically?
You have a diagnostic scanner that works great for humans. It does not work so great on unknown material. So you run your scanner over it and it doesn't know what it is, and that's what it tells you. It spits
maybe
out like
rubber.
Unknown. It's like
Yeah, and a sample of Livingston's tissue just says blown up person. There's no intercellular stuff going on.
Yeah, everything. It just looks like there's no like viral infection.
All right. He was taken apart mechanically, not biologically, in a sense. Is that what I would estimate?
It was like he was carefully, for lack of a better term, it's like he was like something disassembled him.
But the organ that is disturbed is his skin. It's not like he was skinned and that was kept. It was like his internal organs were separated.
But his skin, his muscles, his bones.
Just sprayed.
Yeah.
I noticed that I have both a medical scanner and a cybermetric diagnostic scanner. Is that for machines and stuff?
Yeah, that would be scanning other androids or yourself for diagnostic problems.
Can I use that to identify what the material might be?
So you scan it with that, and it also comes up with nothing.
In your assessment, does that mean it couldn't be something like nanobots or other?
Right, that's what that would mean. It's not, whatever it is not cybernetic in nature. All right, Nesbit, you've made your way up through a hatch. You're in engineering now. And you are looking, you find the filtration and the plumbing hookup into this cell. And you start investigating it. And yeah, there's something. You're looking in these junctures where you can look inside of these piping and things, and there's something in there.
Everybody, I'm at the juncture. There's something in here.
I'll go right away.
Doc, you're muted.
Yeah, I think that security should be there. I guess we should wake up Sleeping Beauty and then cut off this whole isolation cell.
Probably. Yeah, I'll wait to look at it until you're up here, Artie.
Heading straight for it.
You're going up, and Burkoff and Dobson, you're staying here to start sealing things up, from my understanding. What is?
Yeah. What is the protocol for? I need to move the sleeper in I9 and move him someplace so we can just lop off this limb.
Yeah, so that would be, you could do an emergency transfer to another isolation cell in like D block, just down the way.
Yeah, so I'll start that protocol, which probably involves.
It involves a terminal. You send something off to admin. It's an emergency, so of course you have to wait a little bit, and then it comes back and saying, transfer approved. Immediate, move them to DI3 or whatever. Comes back.
And would we have more than, say, one security android for that sort of thing, or?
Yeah, so the patrol android is still kind of kicking around, so it could come and assist. They're not very smart, but they are strong, so they could just hold on and direct people.
Yeah, so that I'm engaged in that process while things move forward.
Yeah, and I'll be sealing it up down on this end.
All right, so you start sealing off one of the entrances into C isolation. What is Obi up to?
Obi's waiting for somebody to tell him to do something.
Okay, so Obi is waiting patiently. And so Nesbit and Artie, both of you are up in the filtration and in the plumbing of the C isolation ward. What are you two up to?
All right, so once Artie's here, I'm gonna tell her, in case, just do what you gotta to make sure you put down anything that might be alive in here. I don't think there is, but better be safe than sorry.
Good. I'm assuming Nesbit will point me to where it is that this
Yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And now I actually put on some, I've had a mask on this whole time, but I've now put on my because who knows what this is. So I've put on my vac suit just so I also have the gloves, because who knows what this is right now.
Nesbit, do you have some form of receptacle for collection?
At the moment, no. Hey Doc, could you send up a specimen container?
No problem. Sure. I'll send up a couple. I'll toss up a couple. Is it a ladder to this hatch to this?
Yeah, so it's a ladder up, and then to get in through a door, you need to insert your ID card, so it will authorize you and open. And then you crawl up into a little juncture that leads into engineering. So from engineering, you can get to pretty much everywhere else in the station because it's centralized.
Mm-hmm.
But through these little hatches.
So on the one side, you see the door kind of slide open, and my vac suited form reappears.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I'll go to wherever this threat is with this collection, and I'm assuming I have a weapon that's not just meant to kill, but also
just to stun.
Yeah, stun.
Yeah.
So yes.
All right, so I'm going into the pipe and seeing what this is.
All right, so you shut off the water.
Mm-hmm.
You wait for the water to kind of drain out of it, and you look in here, and in the water pipe, you see more of these strands
What the?
connecting just kind of every couple of feet down the water pipe.
Ah, hell,
And
it's
again,
made it.
you shut off the air filtration and you open that up. And also in this air filtration unit, there are strands that go and go, just leading up and off.
Oh, this is bad. It's totally infested the water and the filtration.
I'll take a sample just in case it's different from what
Yeah.
Lovecraft took a sample of.
Yeah, that's not good. Is there do you have a
I've got
s-
it. I've got a bioscanner. I'll see if anything comes up, but I'm doubting it at this point.
is there any system diagnostic that can tell us if there's foreign matter extending outside of this cell block?
Probably, but I would need to get to its central command console.
Yeah, so you'd have to go deeper into engineering towards like the centralized water unit and the centralized air oxygen unit, which are kind of near the middle of engineering. So you're kind of external in the prison block, so you have to go deeper into the heart of engineering.
All right. Let me scan this stuff first, see if my scanner comes up with anything. Probably won't, but who knows? And then I'll head further in. Like you said, we need to know how far this goes.
Yeah.
Pull out my bioscanner and point.
All right. Meanwhile, the prisoner, the other resident of sea isolation, is very upset. What is the meaning of this?
Yeah, you look very comfortable. I would love to lie down myself, but your nearest neighbor blew up, and we don't know why. But unless you are comfortable with blowing up, you might be better off in a different wing.
Oh, this fucking place. How are any of us still alive with your poor management skills, huh?
Take
Just
it up
wait
with
until a
management.
prison inspector comes out here, huh? And then you're all dead. You hear me? Dead. I'll tell them everything.
You sound pretty educated for a minor. What are you in here for?
What am I in here for?
Uh-huh.
Sticking it to the man. That's what I'm in here for. Unlike
How'd
you.
that work out for you? I mean, I'm in this shithole too, but my quarters are more comfortable.
You don't have to sick your robotic attack dog on me. Where are we going?
You're just being transferred to another I unit in D. Hopefully, I mean, honestly, if you did blow up, it would not make my day that much harder. But safety first.
Well, I'm sure a bedside banner wasn't part of your job interview. What now was it?
It's not hard to get a job out here. I'll tell you that. So yeah, if who can accompany me with this jackanape?
I can come along with you there, Doc.
Thank you, Dobson. I don't want to be the man he sticks it to today.
Yeah. No, apparently he's in here for a smart mouth, I assume. Isn't that right?
Well, at least you do have ears that work. All right, so you'll lead him off as he curses you out with every creative epithet he can come up with in the 5 minutes it takes you to transfer. Obi.
Yes. So has everybody left me?
Yeah.
All right. I think I will assume that they don't really need me. I will, out of robot curiosity, take a step forward and look in the cell one last time. And then I will go over my schedule as to what I'm supposed to be working on at the moment. I think I'm supposed to be cleaning the core plasma relays.
All right, so you go off. kind of run through your tasks. But you do get a message relay kind of through the Android communication system. That is an inquiry. Android OB Plex for urgent information request. Recently, it was in the logs that you have accessed archive records. Please state reason for accessing archive records.
We were attempting to ascertain what has gone on in the cell number. It appears that the prisoner seems to have become dissolute. They are, we don't know whether it's an explosion or something similar. The organs all seem to be in place. However, we think there might be a problem with the previous encounter, the reason why he's in the cell block. We were attempting to ascertain which prisoner it was who last interacted with him.
Your response is then added to the record.
Inquiry was made, especially for the sake of Dr. Yanis Burkhoff.
All further access to that archive file must be done under strict approval of Devin Monson.
It was Devin Monson who sent us on this task.
File
Inquiry.
access deemed irrelevant to current situation.
Inquiry. What is the prisoner's relationship to Project Company Gaia Research Group?
Classified.
If there's no further instructions, I will continue with what
No further instruction. So Dobson and Burkhoff, as your lovely charge is giving you the bird through the glass as the door shuts. Everything again is kind of quiet. You have a chance to kind of take things in and think about what's going on. Artie and Nesbitt, you make your way to the air filtration and water systems, and as you approach, you're hearing a sharp hiss.
Artie, that's not good. I'm gonna need to check that out.
And as you go, the air filtration and the water recycling is rather unpleasant to be. It's very narrow, claustrophobic. There are pipes running every which direction. Keeping track of anything is a nightmare. But yeah, the hissing is coming from near the base of the air filtration unit. And as you go, there's about a tennis ball sized hole in the pipe that you've been following. That's been
Jesus. Oh yeah, that's not good at all. There's a plug. There's a foam plug gun nearby, right?
Yeah.
That is very easy. Grab, plug.
All right, the hissing stops.
Nesbitt, assessment. What could have caused this?
I have no idea. Before I plugged it, did it look like something had punctured it from the outside, or like something had burst out?
It looks like you find that there's you look around and there's a section of metal that had come out of the pipe, and you're looking at it, and it's easy to tell. It looks like it was cut, perfectly cut from the inside. So you can give me a sanity save.
Both of us?
Yeah.
Ha! Pass. 03.
All right. If you fail, it's just one more stress.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense. It was cut, but I flipped it around to show Artie. It was cut from the inside. These pipes aren't that big.
Yeah, they're very They're very small little air vent pipes.
And they've already said it wasn't nanobots. So if it wasn't that, what the hell could it have been?
Is this section of water and air servicing the entire prison?
Warden?
At the heart of this place, it is.
Yeah, it is. This is the main juncture for both of them, and there was this hole that was cut from the inside. So I'm guessing whatever it was wanted out.
So there are junction points. So you went up through the isolation juncture. The weird string material continued through that, and then it went up to the block juncture, and then went up to the whole prison block juncture. So at this point, this unit is what's servicing all the lower decks.
So basically, as far as I can tell, it's all infested.
Crew be informed the entire prison cell block structure has been compromised with whatever material was located in the isolated prisoners unit. And that is just to this crew, not everyone.
And then I point out, and be on the lookout for something kind of small. There was a puncture at the junction that, well, doesn't make any fucking sense, but it looks like it was cut from the inside and something got out.
This is a precision tool that cut this, Nesbit?
Looks like it.
Not rough, sheared, torn metal.
Warden?
Yeah, I mean, you're baffled. It looks like somebody took like the most precise laser cutter you have, and from the inside of the vent, made a perfect circle with it.
Yeah, like they would have had to have had the world's smallest laser cutter to make this, but apparently they did.
You're saying there's some tiny little thing that cut a hole through the pipe. We got to keep.
Fuck if I know, but that's what it's looking like, and whatever this crap is, it's in the whole system.
Since I also received that message just now, I'm going to open up a few panels and see if I can find more of this stuff inside the various conduits connecting the computers. And
Does anybody think we might want to tell the warden?
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Warden Monson, we've got a problem.
What kind of a problem?
Unidentified black stringy substance through the water and filtration systems for the entire cell block problem.
Is it toxic?
We don't know, but we do know that where we first found it was in that isolation cell where a prisoner seems to have exploded.
Determine if it's toxic or dangerous, and then bother me about it. Understood?
All right. This is just to the group. He was about as helpful as expected.
It's his professionalism and personal concern that I respect.
Yeah.
he has over 700 prisoners to take care of.
And if this is toxic or whatever the fuck this is, could be endangering all of them.
That's our job.
This water and air system, does it also service the security administration wing?
Warden?
Yes, at a certain point. So there's like little juncture points as it kind of gets more individualized. And where you're at now, where it poked its way out, is the main conduit that leads into the main filtration unit. There's another hub off of that goes up, if that makes sense. But it has gone to the heart of the system from this direction at least, and then poked out.
And we're not observing more concentrated growth of this material in certain aspects that would indicate an apex point or something like that.
No.
Warden Monson, just a quick FYI, I'm doing a closer look, and it looks like this could be, if it isn't already, in the admin filters.
You know, I really hate could be's. Figure out if it is or isn't. I don't get paid to listen to your inner thoughts and dialogues about maybes. If you get something hard, let me know. Over.
Over and out. So just because I'm feeling petty, I'm gonna check the vents that I know lead to admin. Is it there?
It is not.
Oh, hasn't. Well, Monson's got lucky. It hasn't gotten to his area yet. He doesn't have to care about it now.
Well, I sleep up there too.
Don't we all?
Where you have an evacuation point, is there some of the black matter at the point of exit or in the room that it exited into?
From what I can tell, I don't actually see any strands in this room except in those pipes. So whatever it is doesn't appear to like open spaces.
Urkov, do you have a lab you can analyze this in?
Or do I need to go to Gaia to get good equipment?
You have 75-year-old lab equipment and anything that you brought with you. You would assume that Gaia Research has more up-to-date lab equipment. They've moved in more recently than when it was constructed.
I suggest we make a little joint party to go and see if we can get a better analysis of this material at Gaia, where it presumably came from, and then we can ask about Lloyd Everest and whether or not he's been turned into wallpaper.
All right.
Is the altercation itself relevant to what is happening here? And would it be worthwhile to interview any witnesses to the incident?
I think so, Artie. There has to be some sort of connection.
Yeah, something just feels weird about this. They fight. Everest goes to Gaia, and Livingston goes to isolation, and then Livingston blows up. Something's funky.
You think maybe going to Gaia right away, Doc, might be tipping our hand to them as far as maybe they don't. I don't know whether or not this is an accident or intended.
I mean, I agree that we should be as informed as we can be before we go there, because they're going to try to stonewall us. It's proprietary this and it's classified that. And even if we brought them a head on a platter. But I would like to also see whether this stuff grows and on what, and my lab is not great.
The warden wants to know if this stuff is toxic. He won't do anything substantial until we know that, at least.
I personally consider something that makes a human body explode lethal, if not toxic.
That's what I would have thought, but tell Monson that.
Brittany, do you have any risk assessment about this?
Chance of contaminating other prisoners is high, but we will need administrative approval to evacuate any. So highest priority would be assessing the material.
Sorry to interrupt. Have we found any evidence that this stuff is actually growing?
So Obi, you've been kind of looking around. You kind of went up into maintenance. You're looking into things. The only places where you can find the strands are the pipes leading from that cell to that unit. It is not spread into any of the other pipes.
I think the origin might actually be the man in the cell, not the other way around. My assessment of the warden is that he just wants answers. He doesn't want to help speculate. He's what the humans call a dick.
No argument there.
Also, your speculation that the other prisoner might have something to do with it, although it's one avenue, you could also assess that the prisoner ate dinner, he used the bathroom, he did a lot of things that might have nothing at all to do with what's happened here. Something was introduced into his system that caused this. Keeper, well, not keeper, warden. Are there aliens in our world?
There are.
Okay.
They are mostly microbial.
Oh, but there's no
found.
alien races.
They're not like no intelligent life has been discovered thus far. Let's put it that way.
So,
But it is widely known that like microbial life exists.
Yeah, there's alien microbial life. You hear rumors and things that speculate about people finding like ruins of alien civilizations, but nothing much ever comes of that. There's always the conspiracies. And
if we consider that 8% of all microbes on Earth are deadly to humans, then who knows about space microbes? This could be something that he picked up or something that's been gestating for months, or it could be something introduced by the other prisoner or by Gaia as an experiment.
What were the times of Everest's introduction to Gaia and the altercation in the dispensary?
So the altercation in the dispensary occurred a couple of days ago. Within 24 hours of it, Everest was sent to Gaia, and the record closed.
He was in a regular cell in C before that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look for his old roommate.
Burkhoff and Dobson, be advised, personal protective equipment is recommended at this juncture.
Yeah, vac suits, hazmat if you got them, vac suits if you don't. I wouldn't take any risks with this shit.
I'm also curious, Morgan, as androids, are we like the Terminator? Are we metal frames underneath simulated flesh?
You are a light metal structure, like of your bones that are metal and joints, but you have a kind of rubbery overskin.
If we're attacked by a prisoner with a knife, can he do enough damage to us to hurt us? Or
if you are assaulted by a knife, yes, you could be pretty messed up if you're by yourself. They can get at like the core of your frame, no, but they can cut out wires and they can mess up.
They could do enough damage to
disable,
incapacitate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of like Alien, right? Like
same, you're not like
I'm not indestructible.
You're not like Terminator robot, as you said. You're more like
Gash.
Or like
hydraulics and stuff.
You've got stuff inside of you that could be damaged and mess you up pretty bad.
I think we should see if Lloyd Everest's previous cellmate knows anything about his behavior before the attack or the crime that he was incarcerated for.
I'm going to be rejoining your position.
And all of you get another squawk over your radios.
Yep.
Missing prisoners reported.
What?
Cell C117 and cell C033. Missing prisoners reported. And then you get a patrol android and a string of its serial number.
Weren't we just in C?
Most of us are still in C or attached, or close by.
You were nearby.
For curiosity's sake, the one pipe that is infested with this stuff, Is it connected to either of those cells at all?
So there is a juncture that it hits, and you can look at those pipes that go back into those cells. And you're looking at it, and again, you hear a kind of a hissing sound.
We've got a puncture. Where is it?
And it is further along down into one of those pipes that leads down into the cell.
Okay, looks like we've got another one of these cut pipes, and it goes into one of our cells with a missing prisoner. I say as I seal it.
What? How many prisoners are reported missing? Just two, or is it more than?
So they tend to double up. So there are 2 prisoners in the normal cells, and the pairs of prisoners in cell C117 and cell C033 are both missing. There are 4 prisoners missing.
Okay.
And based on those numbers,
there.
yeah, we all are.
All right, you go. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Is there one place or is it 2? Are those numbers, how the way this is structured, are those across the hall from each other? Or are they on 2 different wings of C?
They are more stacked, if that makes sense. So there's like a little gangway that leads up to, the 100 level is above the 0 level.
Gotcha.
So 033 and 117, they're near stacked, like
right.
us.
017 is under 117. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So these they could possibly see each other, but they're not right close.
Yeah.
But it is feasible that their pipes intersect. So.
Yeah, as they lead down to the units, they do get more consolidated. So.
Right.
Do we have the same way there are the, emergency caulk guns for atmosphere leaks? Are there weapons that staff can access with their card?
There are weapons that you can
like
get
this?
out of blockers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we should arm ourselves against these escapees. This is a shit show. Our leaks have leaks.
So you go to these cells and they're empty. All the prisoners are gone. But with so those of you who are coming from the inside of the prison block, you come over and you see that from the air filtration where it kind of comes into the wall, there is a perfectly cut circular shape that is left. And when Artie and Nesbitt, you come from engineering, yeah, there are just holes leading out of these cells into engineering where you are now.
Jesus.
Are they big? Are these bigger than the holes that you guys found in the pipe? Like they're like person size?
They're big enough for people to fit through. This one that was cut. These 2 that were cut.
How the hell?
I'll call it a lockdown. It's prison breaks.
How the hell did they get laser cutters? That's the only thing that could have made these.
I'm going to call in a lockdown. That's going to be highest priority.
Obi, can you pull up these prisoners' files?
Sure. I'll pull them up on this terminal so you can read them.
Oh, that'd be great.
Pulling up those prisoners' files, you call in the lockdown, and with the confirmed missing prisoners yet, you hear like little klaxons go off. Every junction where there is a door that's normally open, they all slam down. Anybody who was out and about, the patrol androids just seize them and just drag them. No questions asked, back to their cells. And every door that can be shut and closed is shut and closed.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Obi. I haven't gotten these tablets working yet, really, for me. Forgive me while I get really close to my screen. All right.
Do we need to zoom in on them?
Prisoner ID, Noel Sanders, female residence, Hawthorne Industrial Mining Facility X, Colonial Justice, sentence 10 years for kidnapping. Yeah,
They're
obviously
also
she's missing.
kidnappers.
They're all
On the
kidnapped.
same date. 10/10/21/55.
What do you suppose the odds are that
Good take.
the kidnapping victim was a Monson?
These all the same crew, you think?
They must have
Definitely.
been working together. Yeah.
2 men and 2 women, all on the same date.
They're all in my facility. They're all working.
No, this place is totally run down, but they've just escaped and already their records say missing. So that they update.
Now, wait a minute. Aren't there 2 more prisoners? Who are their cellmates?
Oh, right. These are only 3 and 4. Right.
So
You look at their cellmates, and they don't seem to have any other. You look at them, and one of them was arrested like a month ago for petty theft, and another one
No
like
connection.
2 years for disturbing the peace.
it was probably just a cover or something.
It's
But
starting
so-
to feel like a coordinated escape effort.
Yeah. Although the 2 men ain't exactly in good positions. One's in Gaia, the other's dead.
Yeah. Did Julia and Noel set up their teammates and arrange for a violent altercation and then an escape? And this is getting very elaborate.
That's assuming that actually was the prisoner in that cell. And not, did we do a DNA assessment?
Can they be genetically identified on the basis of the materials found?
Yes, you can run a DNA test. Not here. You're gonna have to go back up to your lab. So in a couple of minutes, you get back up there. You run the test, and it is Ichabod who died in that cell.
Yeah, we have a positive ID on the Mr. Explodium. In my lab, can I do anything regarding the black strands?
Yeah. So you have skill in biology and chemistry. Yes.
Yes.
So you can add 20% to your intellect roll.
Which is already 38. However, a 97 really exceeds all of that.
You were quite befuddled. Can't make heads or tails of it. You have no idea what it is.
Right. I do know, even being a buffoon, I can do I saw that it snapped back when cut. Is it flammable?
You go to light it on fire, it is not flammable.
It's not flammable. Is it soluble in water or alcohol or oil?
No.
Does it
Right.
look like
I don't
under
know
a
what the stuff
microscope?
is. It looks like some kind of I'm wondering if it maybe is silicon based because it doesn't burn. I could use better lab equipment or more time.
Well, if it's
Well, does it have a cellular structure? You could look at it under a microscope, like a living organism.
What
So-
does it look like in a microscope?
You
Tubes?
You take it under a microscope, and it looks biological if it was made up of cells, except the things you would expect cells to have are not there. You can't just, it's like they're animal cells, but there's no nucleus, there's no like Golgi
Mitochondria.
apparatus, or
no organelles, blah, blah,
there's no
blah.
little organelles in there.
I report that the material is weird but complex.
Alien. It's alien.
So once the klaxons go off and the red lights come on and the doors all slam, do extra security bots come online or other human personnel?
The patrol bots that are about get more aggressive.
And we suspect that the escapees got into the engineering level, which would give them access to all over the place.
Correct.
Question, the other hole I found in the pipe, was that the same size as the previous hole?
It was.
All right, so here's the part I'm not getting. They leave their cells through, holes big enough to get full-grown women through. But the exit holes I'm finding are about yay big.
Well, so those are into the pipes. The holes in the cells are just in the wall.
Oh, okay.
Punch through into engineering.
Okay, never mind. Well, looks like, so here's the odd part. They're cutting themselves into engineering through their cell walls, but then we've also got what looks like people are cutting from the inside of the pipes, which is weird.
People aren't. They're not small enough, but the relationship between the events is peculiar.
Could it be some sort of a nanobot or something similar that travels from cell to cell inside the tubes, but then they can use it to cut holes in their cells to get out of as well?
Yeah, it's a little bit like the old file and the cake trick, except it's a nanobot and the tube trick.
Maybe.
Can we see which way the cut happened? Was it from the cell going into engineering or reverse?
It was from inside of the cell going out.
Going out, okay.
So 20% assessment. The prisoners came in together. The dead one in the cell had something smuggled inside of his body, whether he knew that or not. It could be that he didn't know. And then it was triggered by someone. It burst its way out, went through the pipes, and then somehow managed to get into their cells and cut them free, open the cell wall. And it might still be working with them.
It's true. Can you access any information about the kidnapping in question?
Let's try. It's probably classified, but
yeah, you do not have access to the judiciary files.
Access denied. My grade is not high enough for that kind of information.
Assuming that you described to us what your previous conversation was like, I assume also Monson's put extra locks on things.
Oh yeah, even if we tell him, it might actually be relevant. If it's not something he wants to let out, it ain't getting out.
Well, it might be helpful if we could assess where they're going. If they're going to engineering, they're probably trying to subvert the security protocols of the station, and then they're probably trying to get to the launch pad and get the hell away from here.
Well, yeah, and again, when the general alarm goes, what does that mean for the doorways in engineering and above? Like, do they need a double access protocol or something?
Yeah, so as far as getting up back to the upper levels, somebody needs to verify you on the other side of those doors to let you back up.
Oh, great.
And when I went up to my lab, I had no difficulty.
When you went up, you were let through by the admin. People in the admin room let you through.
You have
and we are more or less, these are people we recognize and more or less trust, not to say let Julia and Noelle out.
Yeah.
Are they bots? Or humans?
The people in the admin room are humans.
Humans can't be trusted. They can be bribed. They can be coerced.
They can be programmed.
Well, we can't break our main programming, which is here we're working in a prison.
No, you can't, but humans can.
Humans can.
All right. Well, I probably need to get myself into engineering to try and figure out what the heck what they could have possibly done in there.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of sweep can we do through engineering to find these two?
So engineering is a labyrinth of pipes, of ducts, of nuclear reactor that getting close to is bad for your health.
I can do that.
It's very inhospitable and difficult to navigate cleanly. So it is difficult to conduct a thorough sweep of engineering with not a lot of people, if that makes sense. There's lots of places to hide.
Is Gaia completely shut off from all of our stuff? I mean, we're renting a floor to them. Does that mean they have access to like our power and water and all that? So like would engineering lead to Gaia at all?
It does.
I would like to take a look and see if they went, just on a hunch, if there's anything heading towards Gaia rather than the shuttle bay or anything.
Everest, right?
Yeah, we have 4 known accomplices, more or less, and one of them is in Gaia. And I guess rather than going and knocking on the front door nicely, we could see if we can go the same way that presumably Noelle and Julia did.
If that's where they're headed,
Would it
could
be
very well
possible?
be.
Would it be possible to flood the engineering section with gas that would knock out the prisoners? Chloroform, or use chloroform anymore, but
Not gas. You could lower the oxygen that's being sent there. We have to do so within engineering.
If we caused them to pass out, we wouldn't necessarily find them in time to recover them, right?
right?
I mean,
well, they are prisoners.
yeah, and escapees. If they suffered brain damage, it wouldn't affect our pay grades.
No, it's not hard.
Well, do you want to?
I'm more than happy to go and check and take point and see if they headed towards Gaia. I'll put on my vac suit if we do need to lower the oxygen. At least I'm not going to pass out.
Well, there's
I'm
also
also
the
not-
point. Go ahead.
I'm also not affected by oxygen deprivation, so
And I've had my vac suit on since we first found this stuff. So
Right,
I don't need the suit, and I've got mechanical repair.
While you're
so I'm
discussing
used
your
to-
options, Artie, you have been on the trail, so to speak. You're looking through things, trying to find where they could have gone. You stumble across a maintenance tool locker that has been broken into. And from there, you see they've taken some nail guns.
Crew be advised, prisoners are considered armed and dangerous.
hell.
Anything else or just nail guns?
You're sitting there and you
Go
almost
ahead.
think you hear like a sloshing liquid noise. And as you hear it, like almost as soon as you hear it, it's gone. And you're like looking above. And then maybe a bit more distant, like somewhere else, you hear this liquid sloshing sound and then it stops. And then very distant, you hear a liquid sloshing sound and then it stops.
I'll head in that direction. The distant noises.
So everybody else, you're in engineering and you're heading toward where Gaia is at.
That's where yeah, I think so.
Right. So you go and you find the hatch that leads into Gaia, and you don't see any sign of entry into it.
Doesn't doesn't look like it's been tampered with, at least.
Would there be any way to see like the last time it was accessed? Some sort of log or anything?
So you go to access that door's logs, and instead of that normal green text old Monson security thing, you see a bright blue Gaia research terminal pulls up. It says unauthorized access.
Yeah.
The door logs.
I'm keeping my ears open for any like hissing. Do I hear anything?
No. But as it's
can I
difficult
try-
now if you're in a vac suit, correct?
Right.
Yeah. Your outside noise is you're speaking to people on the radio. It's sealed and shut. It's difficult to pick up.
Just hear your own breathing.
Can I
Okay.
try to get through the security protocols? And
Yeah, you can give
Access
me
information.
hacking. So if you don't have hacking, do you have computers?
I've got computers.
Okay, so you just get the 10%. You won't get the extra 15 because you don't have hacking, but you can give intellect plus 10%.
Intellect plus 10.
Mhm.
So 63. Let's see what I get. I got a 9.
All right, so you're like, it's not letting me access. So you take the terminal, you just open it up, and you get physically inside of it and start manipulating things. And you gain access over the door.
I can open the door.
Yeah, we need to get in.
Well, I can type as far as this, and this is the last button, and I am unable to break my programming. All you have to do is hit that button.
Okay, I'm prepared to, OB. Thank you. Is that one?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us beforehand what our contractual liabilities are for entering Gaia?
I'm
Illicitly?
not. We're not supposed to go in there. I can override that if you tell me to go inside. But you're humans. You can do whatever you want.
We're going in. OB, Artie, you are authorized, and boop.
All right, the doors slide open. And on the other side, there's a ladder that leads down onto a walkway that is spotless, white, and gleaming. Are you all in vac suits
Yeah.
for humans?
I'm only in a hazard suit. I'm not.
Okay, so you're in a hazard suit. You're not in a full vac suit. And Obi, you do have some kind of sense of smell. You have a system that tells you what's in the air. So
yeah,
this place smells like chemical sterilization.
this room has a great deal of antiseptic. It is sterile.
I wouldn't have guessed there was anything this clean within 10 million miles of this.
Yeah.
They're
Will rock.
creating computer components, or they are doing medical research.
So this walkway, is it? Presumably the Gaia lab is the same broad structure as the prison blocks. So it's a cylinder of tiers.
Yeah, right.
It has been modified.
And instead of cells, there are offices or labs.
Looks like it.
Yeah, so you're looking at, it looks like they have done some modifications, as OBS said, like blocks of cells. Like this place is built kind of like in a modular way. So like triple like sets of cells have been removed to like one larger room. And instead of like the isolation area and things, that has been built out a lot more. There's almost like they put another building inside of here, stemming from that area outwards. And this is just what you can see from just like peering through the hatch.
Do I have any way of telling from the computer system if there's any kind of emergency sterilization mechanisms, like, because the second we step in there, we're taking our germs with us. And I don't know, they could suddenly purge the whole thing with fire. They think there's germs in there. Is there any way to find that out in the...
So you got in through a door.
Uh-huh.
Further information about
I can't get in
the protocols you need to get to, because there are terminals every so often in both your side, and you can see here, you can see terminals.
Do I
the
see
hallway you have to
any
go.
like flame jets or laser beams?
You don't see any massive guns or flamethrowers or
Yeah, we're not
things.
seeing any people in has suits
You're not seeing anybody. It's empty as far as you could tell,
and quiet.
and quiet.
It's as empty as it can be. There's no germs in here at all, except the ones on our bodies.
What time is it?
So you're checking. It's about 2 p.m.
Okay, so there should be people around.
Right.
We've never seen any of their employees. They're completely isolated from the rest of the...
Right.
Yeah, most jobs are 9 to 5. Even in the darkness of space, they kind of maintain the same schedules. I mean, we have shifts just like it. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Obie and Artie, but I'm only supposed
Where
to
is
work.
Artie? Is Artie with us? Artie,
Yes.
we have breached Gaia. We are at access gate 39245. Interesting. It's all completely sterile.
Any personnel?
Nothing that
Prisoners?
we can see. No one. Oh, what are you up
Acknowledged.
to?
I'm attempting to trace prisoners' path of egress.
All right.
Any progress on that?
Anomalous noises, or I'm picking up some anomalous noises.
Yeah, there's
I
this
need to
anomalous
investigate.
noise, and it keeps moving. I mean, you keep working your way over to where you last heard it, and it's somewhere else. And it's either above you or it's way below you. It's
Sounds like you're describing something moving through the pipes.
I was just about to say that. Could it be in the pipes?
This is
Could
not
be.
my area of expertise. I will come join you. This sounds like work for Dobson or Nesbitt.
Yeah.
Given the gleaming white sterility of what we've seen of Gaia and our own condition coming out of engineering, which I assume is not a very clean place.
Right.
If my gloves touch the railing, they probably leave a mark. And so the prisoners did not come this way. We're pretty sure.
pretty short.
All right. So I guess my interest is in finding out if there's any staff here alive, and also trying to find a lab where I could look at some more of the stuff.
Right. I want to find out if anything, where this stuff could come from, and maybe figure out what the hell is up with Everest. Last we know, he's here.
Oh, right. There have to be cells or hospital rooms or something here if they're transferring prisoners in.
All right, so you're dropping down the hatch. You're going inside of Gaia.
Yeah.
All right, who else is going down?
I think I'll go first because I'm not human. If something happens, I want it to happen to me before it happens.
And
to someone else.
you'll obviously report, high CO2 levels or rather carbon monoxide levels or anything else like that.
All right, so
Yes.
Obi, you set yourself down. You get down onto the full walkway. You wait a second. The atmosphere is normal. Nothing seems to be responding to your entrance.
Other than the chemicals,
Yeah, other than that,
I smell
chemicals.
nothing. No, I don't smell any biological smells.
Yeah, it all just smells completely antiseptic.
All right, coming down.
Yeah. Anybody else want to get fired with me?
As much as I do like pissing off my employers, I think maybe Artie had made a good point, and I'll go check out what that noise in the pipes was. And doing his best, Harry Dean Stanton, he'll head off into the darkness of engineering.
All right.
Wait. If it's noise in the pipes, damn it! I probably need to check that.
All right, so
I could probably cover it if you want to look into the Everest thing. Nesbitt?
Are you just leaving because you're frightened because I'm an android and this is...
No, I'm not frightened, but how's your engineering?
More mechanics and heavy machinery, but
Yeah, you want to talk pipes? You're probably gonna want me.
okay.
all right, so who is where?
I'm on the gangway going
Okay,
wherever.
you're in Gaia. Dr. Burkhoff is in Gaia. Nesbitt, Dobson, and RT are in engineering.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless Artie wants
was
to
heading
go
towards us, so
with Obi and Doc.
My programming would be following prisoners over breaking into a medical
that's-
facility, so
yeah,
I'll probably be following you. I'll probably be in engineering.
All right.
All right.
Sorry.
So Burkhoff and Obi, you are standing on this platform. You are surrounded by these sealed, fairly large rooms. But you're currently just on the walkway. What would you like to do?
So everything's super white.
Mm-hmm.
Is there signage or are there numbers on the doors of these areas? And are there glass type windows?
All right, yeah. So you go over and you see that they're labeled. They're labeled labs. So you go over and you're like at lab, C, lab D, lab E. They're alphabetical. And inside of the glass, you look into this first one. And at first you're not really the glass is tempered. So you can kind of see like a shape through there. And you're looking and you think there's a person sitting. No, there's two people sitting in there. No, wait, there's one. No, there's two. And your eyes kind of adjust. And you see what's in this room are two people who have been grafted together with all sorts of wires running to terminals.
I'll be rolling some dice.
Yep.
Obi, care to join me?
So this is going to be, so first you need to make a sanity save, and then you need to roll for panic.
and we want to go above or below.
So with your panic, you want to roll above your stress.
Okay, well, sanity. I got 20.
Oh, sanity, you want equal to or lower.
I got higher.
Okay. So if you fail, 1d4 stress, and then you need to make a stress test. It's a panic.
I succeeded again. I'm very difficult to phase.
And then
Do I
you
get
said
one anyway?
panic.
So if you succeed, you get 1 stress.
Yeah, I'm still only at 5. It's ridiculous.
And then the
No.
panic check. So you roll 2d10, you add them together, you want above your stress.
Yeah, no problem.
2d10. I got 10. So that's 1 above my stress.
Okay, so you both lose 1 stress. You manage to keep it together, but you're not freaking out just yet at the where you see not going into panic.
It's good to be cucumber-like in this environment.
Should I open this lab?
I do not believe we want to interfere with this experiment. I think we want to log as many of these as we can, as quickly as possible. And then, do you have photographic capacity?
Everything's recorded, sure.
Yeah, we want to log this and see if we have again, I'm going to look for a useful lab. Also personnel. The figures in there, can you tell if they're moving, breathing?
Need a little more light.
So Obi, you produce a light, again that they are breathing.
They do seem to be alive. And breathing.
Giannis,
You're
you're muted.
I'm going to be a little oblique about this because I don't know if our channel is secure, but there's a lot wrong inside here, and we'll report back when we know more.
Roger that. We're still checking on those noises.
Dr. Burkhoff, I'm beginning to believe that perhaps Gaia was using the fact that they're so far remote from home base, planet Earth, whatever, that they've decided to use us for some bizarre experimentation. Unethical.
Yes, I don't think anybody is monitoring the well-being of the prisoners here, so it's a pretty handy place to call some subjects for.
I believe it's the Harps and Accord that said that they can't experiment on prisoners, but they seem to be doing this. Let's move to the next lab and see what we can see.
All right. So as you are moving to the next lab, the other three of you kind of grouped up together. And with all of you kind of listening and figuring it out, you feel like that the noises, they're going off, but they seem to be coming back to a point within engineering. And as you move your way there, you're in this little juncture within this cluster of pipes. And what you see is this seeming mass. And it takes your brains just a second, but it clicks. You see the perfectly intact organs of a couple of people, all sprayed out in a circular construction with lots of those black strands just going back and forth in the circular shape. And unlike what you saw in the cell, this is pulsing.
Oh, Jesus.
So
Fucking
it's
hell.
just going to be sanity and then a panic check.
Okay. Sanity
Sanity's
fail.
cool.
Fail.
All right.
How much
So
sanity loss?
if you pass the sanity, it's just 1 extra stress. If you fail, it's 1d6 extra stress, and then you make a panic check.
Okay.
So if you succeed, you don't get a panic check?
No, you
Right.
still need to make the panic check. You just have
Okay.
less stress involved.
Okay, and then is it percentile D10s or just
No, just 2 d10s standard.
okay?
I rolled 15. My stress is at 10.
Good.
Dang it, failed the panic check by 1.
All right. So we are going to take a 5-minute break now that we're at 2 hours. When we get back, we'll handle what happens as you start to panic, Nesbit.
5 minutes later.
So I would like to use my body cam to send a picture of this back to the warden.
All right. So while you're using your body cam, you're taking a picture, you're sending this out. Nesbit, you need to roll on the panic table. So if you give me
Okay.
2d10 and add your stress and tell me what that number is.
Oh boy. 111. no, sorry. I read that wrong. Gah, my bad. 30. Sorry.
Well, you got 30?
30.
30 is you go into cardiac arrest. As a Teamster, would you like to re-roll that?
Let's re-roll that, please. That is a 17.
That's a little better. Okay, crippling fear. You gain a new permanent phobia.
Fear
So
of black wiggly things.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that seems like a fear of worms or something.
Right.
And so whenever you encounter this phobia, make a fear save at disadvantage or gain 1d10 stress. And since you're looking at it right now, you can give me a fear save.
Hang on 1 second. Let me make a quick note of that.
And you're in the presence of an android, so I believe.
So it's
that
at
is-
double disadvantage. You got to roll 3 times to take the worst.
It stacks? Disadvantage stacks? Wow.
I don't know if it does. Well, maybe it doesn't, but either way, fear save, disadvantage.
Oh, lovely.
The stacking feels mean. I have to look at the rules again, but that just feels mean. I don't think it's that way.
Okay. Oh, that would have been a pass. That would have been a pass. And dang it. Yeah, that's a fail.
All right. So you're going to gain 1d10 additional stress.
Okay.
As there are massive worms that have infested the station. They're everywhere. They're in the pipes. How do you know they're not in your suit?
Oh,
You know,
God.
they're everywhere. So you are just...
Oh, God. It's everywhere. What the fuck is that?
Nesbit, it's gonna be okay. You just calm down a little bit.
It got into the air. It got into the water. How the fuck do you know it hasn't gotten into your suit, huh?
Well, I
Take
don't.
a walk, Nesbit. Take a walk. Walk away.
Game over, man. Game over. As I sort of stomp out.
Burkoff, we have another physical oddity up here. This one seems to be more complex than the one observed in the prisoner's cell.
Yeah.
Possibly alive. It's moving.
This is what you hear me yelling. The one in the cell. I think it was one of these that burst.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Doc, do you have anything for panic or anything like that? Maybe give Nesbit a little bit of help.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should send her our way rather than the other way around. But
Sure. You hear that, Nesbit? Why don't you go see Doc? Obi.
We'll stay pretty close to the hatch that we entered. I have a variety of things that might help you feel less anxious.
Less anxious. Doc, if you'd seen that. Whatever. You know what? Fine.
Miss Nesbit, when you get down here, please don't look in any of the laboratories.
I don't even want to know.
Nesbit, do you want an escort?
That's why I told you.
As long as that shit isn't moving, I'll be fine. Not that far. God damn it.
Warden Llewellyn, is there
Yes.
any chance that Ichabod or Ichabod's tissue was alive and I missed it?
No, it was not alive.
It smelled dead. It looked, it was oxidizing. Okay.
It appears that this is comprised of 2 humans, potentially our escaped prisoners.
Are there indications that there are 2 intact or all the respective parts of 2 human females?
Scanning.
Okay, you're scanning. There are 2 female specimens here, and you were recalling that there are 4 female prisoners who went missing. They were in pairs in their cells.
Presence of 2 female reproductive systems confirmed.
I need you to take samples for genetic analysis, I'm guessing that they are not our escapees, but the escapees' roommates.
Acknowledged.
I need to get off this rock.
I'm not sure that we're going to be able to do that.
You're waiting. So Nesbit has gone off to join you.
Yeah.
Two.
OB, let's go to the
Next.
opposite lab because we want to stay close to where she's going to
Right.
pop out so I can give her some drugs.
All right. So you're going to check the opposite lab. RT and Dobson. What are you two up to?
This is where that noise was coming from.
It comes here sometimes
Sometimes.
when you hear you hear it at different points, and it seems to come here often enough.
If we watch it for a moment, like what changes about its behavior when the noise is close? Like if you have if we're hearing it off in the distance, what's it doing versus what is it doing when the noise is close by? Because
All right, so you two are waiting. So we're going to get to that in a moment.
okay.
Nesbit, you are making your way down. You're trying to keep calm. You're trying to take deep breaths. And you hear a voice call out to you. And it says, "You stay right where you are."
Male or female?
It's female.
Julia or Noelle, I presume?
Stop talking. Don't move. Don't do anything.
I ain't
I'll
moving.
shoot.
But I'm just telling you, you are not even the worst thing I've met today.
Oh, don't worry. I'm well aware.
Really. They don't realize this, but I've flipped my my mic on.
Yeah, so you hear RT, Dobson, you all hear this person talking with Nesbit.
Straight to the confrontation.
Yeah, you're
Yep. Right back.
You know about this, the what your cellmates turned into? What
Stop talking. It makes it easier if you don't talk, okay?
Did they do the same to Everest? To Livingston? Was he one of them too? Did he burst?
Everest, where is Everest? Where are you keeping him?
Apparently, he was sent to Gaia, but something happened, and whatever happened to your cellmates.
At this point, Artie, you emerge around the pipes and you see off to Nesbit's left, kind of hunkered in, pretty back in the dark. You do see a figure that has a nail gun kind of aimed at Nesbit.
Immediately go to subdue the target. I have stun weapon. If I'm close enough within range, I'm going to take a shot.
All right, so you can give me a combat and add the 10% for your military training.
Okay.
Now, since we're learning, does she also get a surprise bonus? Or does that not affect NPCs?
Because
It succeeds either way.
yeah, because she's so distracted by me talking, she wouldn't notice Artie coming.
Yeah, so Artie gets the shot, and they don't get to react until they're shot at. An 87 is a fail on the body, so that your stun goes out, and you hear this cry that the gun clatters, the nail gun clatters, and they're down.
Nesbit, any injury?
No. She apparently she's at least somewhat aware of the thing, but didn't know about Everest. She was looking for him. We were right.
All right, those of you who are in Gaia, you make your way over to the next lab. And here you could make out one person through the glass. But they seem severely bloated. Like they are one person, they are the size of maybe 2 people should be.
Does
There's
that
still
seem-
wires coming out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks, are you reading that it's living also, OB?
Yeah, also
Yeah.
alive.
Also alive. And are they wires or are they these black strands? And they just look like wires.
Without opening the door, you can't tell.
But they're not different colors.
They
They aren't red and blue and clear.
Right. The glass
lines.
is
Yeah, I don't want to get in there. Nisbet, are you approaching?
I already just had to rescue me from one of our 2 prisoners. We still don't know where the other one is.
Artie, any indication? How many nail guns are missing?
2.
Okay. Do you, Artie, do you have the first escapee bound? I bet there's some sort of like groovy synthetic zip tie you can extrude.
Artie, can you hear us? Ollie?
I'm sorry. I apologize. What were you saying?
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
We thought you were frozen. I just want to make sure that you've got the first escapee neutralized bound.
Yes, that was my priority.
And then we have there's still a second one on the loose. And I'm trying to assess whether Nesbit needs pharmaceuticals more than escape from that area or exploration of that area. How are you doing better, Nesbit?
Just needed to get away from all that shit for a while.
I would highly recommend that you do not look in any of these labs.
Wasn't planning on it.
Everything in Gaia is very bad news. Is there any, do we have a mechanism, I guess, Artie and Dobson, this is a dual question. I would like to, I'd like you to burn that biological material in a way that does not compromise structural stuff. Is that it?
Do we have that ability?
I have a handheld welder. I could probably use to burn some of it down without doing too much damage. But I mean, there's going to be a little bit of burn marks.
Yeah, no, that sounds terrible. It sounds like it's going to generate inhalants. And no, I want something more clinical.
Otherwise,
maybe we should just foam it all up and assume that it's biological enough to succumb to lack of oxygen. Readings on that? Either of you synthetics? Does that thing? I mean, you said it was. I'm sorry, Obi wasn't there. Artie, is there indication of respiration, would you say, or circulation?
Warden, I know you said it was pulsing.
It is pulsing. You do not know why. Like there are human hearts in it, but they're not causing it. The pulsing is strong enough that it's the whole
We
thing
could
is
also
like-
try electrocution. I just want to make sure that any biological elements are neutralized without.
If I turn on my infrared goggles, does it show up like does it have a heat signature like a living thing would?
It does.
It's alive somehow. I mean, or at least it's generating heat.
Is
And
it,
so who
is it
at this
lying on the
point-
floor or is it suspended?
It is essentially it is vertical. It is kind of hooked up to different pipes and things. So all the connecting black lines are in the air.
I'm wondering
Almost
if
like you're
you
looking at
could,
a spider web.
if you could surround it with a containment sack and then cut it loose. Plastic
Yeah,
bag.
it's possible, but fuck,
Surely we have.
I'm not going over there.
Surely we have an incinerator. If we can cut this material away, we could burn it.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, an incineration that ported only off world, that would be acceptable. I don't want anything that's going to burn inside the respiratory system of the facility.
No.
We could flush it into space.
There is that. Hope vacuum should take care of it.
Right, but we don't want to vac engineering as a whole, right? We can't viably vac engineering as a whole, can we?
It is at the center.
Right.
So you can't just back it.
Yeah.
The pressure differential would probably damage a lot of you.
Yeah.
Unless there are any other suggestions, I'm going to cut this away so that we can attempt to burn it.
Can we try? Do you have a mechanism for electrocution? It might neutralize active
Dobson, do you have
cells.
something like that?
Well, I've got as far as my loadout, I've got a hand welder and a laser cutter. So I don't know.
I mean, in terms of engineering, you can probably make some
Find
wiring
something,
unsafe.
yeah.
oh,
It's just a
absolutely.
question of whether it's going to get a large part or a small part of this mass or whatever.
I still think that
So
you
it's
should
two.
ground it.
It's two human beings roughly, and is the black connective tissue? What is its percentage of the volume of two human beings? Is it tiny webs or is it gooey strands?
They are thin. And if somebody is there to scan it again, if you've returned to it, you're looking at like the pulverized skin, muscle, bone things that you would expect. A lot of that is gone and could be accounted for.
What
I have
about
a
the
stun gun.
brain?
Brand.
I have a
What
stun
about the
gun.
brain?
That's electric, yes.
Mhm.
I could shoot it. See what happens.
Obese question is good too. We can see the skin is obliterated, the bones are obliterated, the organs are intact. Is there brain tissue that's significant, or is it
there-
distributed?
There are two brains.
Oh yeah, zap the brains.
I still suggest that you cover it all or surround it in plastic. It's going to make a mess if it explodes.
Acknowledged.
One of
I'll go in
those
search of some plastic sheeting or
those
something.
those large shit bags that they use for disposing the prisoners' waste material.
Then I'll go in search of that material.
Right,
Have
so
I-
you're searching for that. You're searching for that material. What is everybody else doing?
Have I made it to the Gaia facility?
Yes, at this point.
I drop down the hatch, find myself a blank wall, and just slide down and like have to put my head between my knees for a few minutes.
I believe
I want you to
Dr. Schneid's-
breathe,
Yeah.
and I want you to take one of the white ones and one of the black ones. The white ones will help you with focus, and the black ones will help you with relaxation.
You're a peach, Doc. I swallowed the pills dry.
I'm going to assess the other labs while he's doing that.
All right, you keep going.
And I'll actually squat with Engineer Nesbitt for a bit.
I'll
and
report
do
to
some
them
breathing
what I'm
stuff and-
seeing.
All right, by the
Yeah.
time you make a circuit of the first level, we're going to chalk it up to this. Just roll 1d8 and gain that much stress.
Oh,
That
Very much
bad.
stress.
Ooh.
so I'm now at 11 stress.
And again, in every one of these labs, there's 1, 2, or the most you've seen are 3 people in them,
Fused together.
in fused together or rearranged or taken apart but still alive. They're
Are these lab doors the kind that you hit a button and they go, psh, or can I like open them a little bit to get a better look and then close them?
If they open, they're going to open all the way.
So I won't open them.
Obi, you've been reporting this roughly?
Yeah, I'm just right over here, you know.
Yeah, I
I'm just
mean,
saying
you're
that
going
way.
around the circuit, but I certainly wouldn't recommend opening it. And I think that we have found a connective tissue logically between the problem in the prison, the problem in the slab. If these figures are fused in various ways, and we've got other kinds of fused figures out here. The intention escapes me.
I'm beginning to wonder if I'm going to make a slight assessment. My assessment might be that either they are trying in some way to connect humans with technology in a rather unconventional way, or something has been brought in from the outside and it's trying to figure out what we are. And
that would help explain the lack of workers in the lab. Perhaps I'd like you to see, now that you're inside Gaia, whether you can access Gaia reports on these
most of the
experiments.
terminals are inside the labs.
Yeah, you probably have different access, and if there's any information about these subjects or these projects, you might have a easier access now.
Can I walk around to the other, maybe go down a level and look at the labs and see if there's an empty lab?
So yeah, so on the lower level, yeah, there are labs that are untenanted.
Okay, if there's one that's untenanted, I found an untenanted lab. Let me see if I can gain access.
Still no sign of any staff.
No one.
We could probably go down to an empty one if nothing else. You can run
Yeah,
that those
Nesbitt,
tests
let's
you
go
wanted.
downstairs, and I'll look at the stuff under better machines while he researches.
All right, so you three, you go into the empty lab. You hit the button and it just goes, lets you in. Artie has gone off to find materials. Dobson, what are you up to?
Are the foam guns for doing like emergency repairs kind of located in a variety of places, or
Yeah,
would they...
anywhere that needs to be emergency sealed. So since there's a bunch of pipes and things in here, there are foam guns about.
Relatively easy to acquire one. I want to take one of those, and I want to foam gun the girl who tried to shoot Nesbitt to like some pipes and just like
Okay,
stick her
yep.
there. And then I want to go hunting for the second one, because they're still in engineering, so they haven't left yet.
All right, so you continue the hunt.
And I'll just open my comms, and I'm just going to leave my comms open from this point going forward. Just open channel, at least to the party.
All right, so you leave it open, and as you get away down the pipes, again you hear that liquid noise, and it seems to have gone back from where you came from. After you've gone away, Artie's gone off to find material. You foamed that person there, and you've gone off, and you're looking at stuff, and yeah, that liquid sound seems to have gone back there.
I'll start heading that way.
All right, and you're around the corner looking at where you left this person foamed up. And stretched across the pipe above it, you see this translucent white thing. It's almost cylindrical with these little bits of it sticking, all these different little ligaments hanging above the person who you left foamed. And it's got these little appendages that have gone down and you see it's plucking. It's already got her brain out of her skull, and it's starting to pull
Jesus.
her up out of the foam. So she foamed here, and it's just like disassembling her almost, and it's like gathering up.
Oh, Christ.
So sanity and panic.
Yeah. That is a fail. And then
So with the fail sanity, that's 1d10 stress.
1d10. 3. That is a fail.
Fail. All right. So for the panic table, roll 2d10 again and add your stress.
18.
18. You are overwhelmed. You gain an additional 1d10 stress. No additional effect.
Well, that cranks it up quick. All right. Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't seem to mind you at all. It's just content. Just
I'm going to start. I'll describe what I'm seeing. And anybody who can get to a terminal and access my body cam can see everything I'm seeing.
All I will ask is, this thing, is it about the diameter of a tennis ball?
Is it about the diameter?
yeah,
of a tennis ball?
it's long, but it's very thin. And it's got these little
Okay.
like appendages coming off.
Can I
Two
access
questions.
the terminal?
One, should we all take sanity?
If you
rolls
yes,
for
everybody can
watching
make
this?
sanity and can make panic if you're looking at the feed.
I'm not looking at the feed. I just asked over the comm.
Here's the feed right here.
Failed. How much stress is that?
It's 1d10 stress for seeing
and
this thing.
also a
failing.
panic roll as well.
And a panic for seeing it.
That's a newbie. All right. So I'm still so resolute.
Okay, so I roll the sanity. I failed.
Okay, you get
And then I
1d10 stress. And then you make your panic.
Rolled under my panic levels. That's a failure, right?
That's
You are
210.
an android.
Thompson, do you have anything to either incinerate or electrocute that?
I'm gonna just I'll shoot foam at it.
Technically, I got 27.
So compound data corruption.
Right.
Roll twice. You're gonna roll twice again and get 2 results now.
What do I roll twice? 2d10
2d10
plus the stress.
plus the stress and a twice.
RT, does OB sound all right?
RT is about to.
Oh,
lose it as
dear.
well.
Everybody's losing their shit.
That's 32.
32. You are processing. You're trying to make sense of this. You're accessing every little scrap of data that you have, and you overwhelm yourself. So with the over 30, you're shut down. Somebody's gonna have to come reboot you in a sense.
RT, I asked about OB. Is it RT?
OB, what is your next 2 rolls? Because you got compounding problems.
30 and 23. My head explodes.
So 23, you have difficulty expressing humanity, but I'm not doing the explode.
Okay.
You're going into that same overheat state as RT. So
I freeze up and I'm
sees up. And then Burkoff, I assume you passed your panic roll since you're just cold.
Yep.
Cold doubled you.
Yep.
Doc, I think OB just fried. I go over there to try and reboot him, turn the
There's a-
feed
there's
off
a
so I have
little-
to see it.
There's a little manual panel on most of them, like somewhere like here. There's
so
a button.
you're going to turn Obi back on.
Mhm.
Dobson, you're shooting the foam gun at the thing.
Yeah.
You can give me. Let's see, do you have firearms or military training?
I have firearms.
Okay, so you can add 15% to your combat and roll that.
So I've got a 15% plus my combat. We would be at 56.
56, is that a pass?
That's a pass. Yeah. So sorry. I did that backwards. Yeah, that's a pass. I just got under. So
All right, so you spray it and you do manage to hit it.
and then it says the gun is like it doesn't do damage per se. It just kind of like holds things in place, right?
It's going to roll to try to not. So with the 45, so you start hitting with the foam, and the thing just like shrinks up in one direction. And so as the foam's enveloping it, it seems to like before the foam can constrict on it, it pulls itself out.
Son of a bitch.
And it's still holding pieces of the person it was collecting, minding its own business, and you just attacked it. And it starts to scuttle, like start coming towards you.
Oh, shit. I'm going to book it.
All right, can you roll speed?
Yeah, speed. So
I'm just going to roll combat to try to get you before you get away.
Right. I got a 3.
Ooh, I got a 91, which is a fail. So you turn and leg it, and you see some of those things that it is using to collect bits of people. They lash out at you, but they seem to stop just in time as you round a couple of pipes, and you get the hell out of there.
Yeah, about that collecting sample shit, guys. Not happening anymore. We need to get out of here.
Artie, where is she?
Artie? Trying to find him. God damn it. Would I know where Artie would have gone to find the baggie? Or I'll head towards her. As long as that's like in the most roundabout, keep away from the monster way I possibly can.
All right. So you're creeping about. You're trying to be quick, but you're also trying not to make a lot of noise. Making a circle around to Artie. So Nesbit, you're trying to reactivate Obi.
Yeah.
All right. You get Obi open, and he's fairly melted inside.
Oh, shit.
You're going to need to go and get replacement circuit boards.
And those are all in engineering.
Yes,
where
they are.
I know that there's a monster.
To a bypass.
What?
Bypass.
You have to bend a paperclip. I'll tell you about the 20th century in my history degree later.
However, what are the chances that this lab might have a few circuit boards elsewhere that I could possibly grab?
Want to go looking into other labs?
Well, on this floor, maybe.
So we went from 1 to 0, is that right? But when we entered Gaia Labs, we went from
level 1 to level 0. Yep.
To level 0. And level 1 was full of specimens, and level 0 was more labby, more academic. Yeah. So I think it's reasonable. I'm gonna, give OB a couple smacks on its noggin, and it's checked out, right? Glazed eyes, non-responsive. Yeah, we can look for materials here, I think, to help.
So probably pop it. Make sure the lab next door is empty. If it is, pop in, look for parts, get out as soon as I can.
Well, the other thing is I'm very concerned about the fact that there are no living people here.
And At this point, Doc, do you really want to know? I just want to get our people and get the fuck out.
Well, I don't want to find any disease bodies or enemy. Yes.
Right, you don't want disease bodies. You don't want to find enemies. You're looking for circuit boards. There is a terminal in here. Sorry to interrupt, but if you are looking to cannibalize something for parts, there's a computer terminal you can go after.
Yeah. Layla, if you want to work on this, we could use his help, and I'll keep moving around the circuit and try to find.
All right, I dive for the terminal and start tearing it up.
Okay, do you have scavenging?
I don't, but I do have.
I have scavenging, actually.
However, I do have mechanical repair, and theoretically, I need to know how to break something in order to repair it.
Well, I'm also a scavenger, so let me just elbow this, and then.
Okay, so with scavenging, you can add that to your intellect.
So that is. That's 10% more. Okay. 17 would have made it regardless, but yes.
Okay, so you managed to get the chips out of it.
Thank you.
And now Nesbit, if you want to roll your engineering,
which I do,
put chips back into Obi.
Would that be engineering and repair technically?
Yes.
Okay, so that'd be 25.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ugh, that's a fail.
All right, so you
not a crit, but a fail.
So you put the chips into it, and Obi gets up.
I am OB Unit Plex 4 G19932A. How can I assist you?
He's wiped. Completely wiped.
Yeah, that's a drag for everybody. Obi, we need you to access this thread that began with item. We're currently, this is the current date. This is the current event that we're concerned with. This escape is linked to this health crisis, is linked to these protocols. If you can board some of that on, we'll come back and ask you for help.
So, Obi, as you start accessing the Gaia research database through your chips, you don't recognize any of these ID numbers, and you access the personnel files, and you don't recognize these two as personnel of Gaia.
Can I see if I have a memory boot that I can, like a stored memory that I can pull in? Or is it not accessible from?
It's with the failed repair roll. They've replaced your circuitry, but you are more Gaia than you are OB at this point. So you're kind of struggling from a severe case of wiped OB personality and the Gaia computer system that's trying to.
Are they in the room or did they leave?
They're in with you.
What is your Gaia designation access?
Same as yours, I'd imagine.
Do you identify yourself as Object OB Plex 4?
Yes.
You have been. You've had a memory error.
I do not find you in the personnel logs of Gaia.
Of course you don't. You've had a memory error. Think about 5 minutes ago. You can't. You've had a memory error. There's been a breach. We are your primary human managers, and there's been an event that is very troubling regarding a patient or subject called possibly Lord Everest.
That is classified information. You are
That's
not
correct.
authorized.
Pretty sure something that was in here got out, but not before killing everyone else in here.
There's been a huge breach, and you are part of the problem. Can you direct us to Lloyd Everest's former cell? That subject is probably dead.
I'm
rolling
going to
bluff
alert
robot.
security that 2 unauthorized personnel are in Gaia.
You were probably closer,
There's
Layla.
no need for you to talk.
Can you
well aware that
pull his
humans
battery out?
are very good at lying. Can I self-defense if she
Okay.
tries to do that?
So, Layla, give me a combat. Obi, if you would like to fight back, you can also give me a combat.
Yes, I have absolutely no compunction whatsoever. Does not kill her. So,
I pass.
what do I do? Combat?
Combat.
I got a 17 out of 32.
Okay, so you both pass. So you both need to roll again.
Okay. I also have speed.
Hang on, that
20.
fell off.
24, that is also a pass.
Oh, that looks like a I don't even know where my damn dice went. Ugh, dang it. Oh, pass again. Reroll.
Yep.
All right.
Mothership does not like ties.
No, it does not. That's a fail.
000.
Ooh. So, Layla, you go to pull the battery out, and Obi just grabs it, and you feel your wrist crackle.
Oh, God damn it. While he's distracted, well, he's got that. He's got me grabbed in one hand. However, I've got another. I'm grabbing for my laser cutter and I'm jabbing it into that port.
I'm pulling out my stun baton and hitting with it.
All right. So, but you are going to take. What is your strength, Obi?
Just 28.
My strength is 45.
You're going to take 9 points of damage from Obi
Okay.
seizing up on your arm.
My speed though is 41. So
Well, you can both roll combat again. Burkoff, what are you doing as these two are kind of struggling for their respective lives?
that time I failed.
Okay. And in the meantime, Dobson, you do locate RT, and you can give me do you have a mechanical repair?
I have mechanical repair.
Yeah, you can give that to replace the circuits in RT.
Okay, so mechanical repair and to intellect. All right, cool. Success.
All right. RT.
Assessment. Unknown biological matter poses great risk to all life forms on space station.
Exactly, Artie.
Recommendation: immediate evacuation of all security personnel and prisoners.
Mayday! Obi's wiped. Need assistance.
So Layla, what did you get on your combat?
I failed. We both failed.
Okay, so you both do another ship. When you both fail, things get more complicated somehow for both of you. So in the struggle, Layla, you're flailing about trying to get an angle. So Obi crushes more into your arm.
Being the only other person present, having assigned something and then sort of wandered away like a smug white man. Once everything goes to shit, I'm going to go back and bean the robot with the biggest thing I can find.
And he's distracted.
All right, so Layla, you're going to take 11 more points of damage as your brittle little bones in your arm break. And Obi, you have lost a hold of your stun baton.
Aw, that's my favorite part. All right. I stun baton.
Burkoff, you can give me a combat check. And Obi, in this case, you're making an armor check, an armor save.
47 is not successful for combat.
I got 57 out of 25.
Oh,
so-
wait a second. Warden?
Yeah.
Should I have been making adding athletics to that? Because I do have it when I was doing all that combat.
No. Athletics
Okay.
does not apply to combat.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
It is a prerequisite for close quarters combat, which would help.
Yeah, I know.
But so you failed Burkoff, and Obi, you also failed?
Yes.
All right.
I'm going
Now I
to
noticed
also,
Dr. Burkhoff.
as we yell at each other and fling stuff, I'm like, OB, we are trying to solve this problem together. You have had a data problem.
So at this point, you are all on the floor because Burkoff has come in with his big heavy object, has stumbled. Obi's trying to shrug it off, but you just collapse. So you, Layla, and Obi, you're all just splayed out on the floor. And you hear the door open. Whoosh. As you see an android dressed in a Gaia research group uniform with a machine gun steps into the room. Artie and Dobson. Where are you up to?
So we're there. No, we just heard that OB is
OB
okay.
is
moving in that direction then.
Yeah, same here. I'd be heading towards them. I don't know how long it'd take us to get there.
Is there some kind of emergent? Well, we did lockdown. I was going to say if there was some kind of emergency protocol, I would activate it at this point, but I think lockdown's probably what it is.
As we're running, or I found Artie. So as we're running, I'll be asking Artie. Artie, can you override the ship bay in order for us to possibly get the hell out of here?
Could I do that from a terminal?
Yeah, you could give me hacking.
Okay.
I mean,
I have
yeah.
computers. I do not have hacking, but
So
it's
you
still
just-
intellect, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, that is a 98.
Unauthorized access to docking.
I think
Shit.
that's more OB's realm, Dobson. Perhaps we should
Wow.
go assist.
Yeah, no, we definitely need to go assist them.
All right, so the three of you who are all on the floor, you see that there is this other android that is looming over you all with its gun. And it seems to be, you can see it like its eyes moving back and forth, like it's thinking about what it's looking at.
There's been a breach. Your subject got out.
Unauthorized.
Are you the
You have
last?
10 seconds to comply.
I say into the mic, we're probably about to die anytime now.
Hey, I'm go ahead. OB.
I let go of whoever I'm holding on to. I stand up and I walk out the door.
Fair. Protocol, we have a systems error. There's been escaped material. Do you understand any human language?
No breaches detected. All materials secured.
Yeah. Error. You have an error in your system. We are not the source of the error.
Please do not resist.
No resistance, right? No resistance. Totally friendly. If you'd like to escort us out, we'd love to go.
And it takes a couple steps back and kind of gestures with the gun.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right, Dobson and Artie, you get down that hatch into Gaia as you see Burkoff and Nesbit being led into that bigger structure on that ground floor at gunpoint by another android. Leads them inside.
So they're not exiting the facility. They're
Going
going
deeper
further
into
in.
it. Mhm.
Fire. I'll take a shot at the android with my laser cutter, if that works. I don't know if I'm close enough.
So at this point, you don't have like the laser cutter that's in your equipment. So I should have specified that because laser cutters they're too dangerous to have on board the station. But you do have a submachine gun.
Well, then I'll use that. Would the mechanics be the same for the submachine gun then?
Yeah, it's a firearms.
Okay. So firearms, I got 15%.
Can we both act like both?
Yeah,
take that
success.
shot?
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, a success.
Okay, you can both roll damage.
What's the damage on the
40,
submachine gun?
10, 40, 10.
13, 19, 27.
Okay.
20.
Okay, so 47 damage total. So your bullets, you start hitting into its back, and it barks out. You were warned not to resist, and it opens fire. Going where it's pointed, it does not shoot Nesbit,
Ooh.
who was leading forward. But it is still up. And it turns it, and Obi, you get a feed that says station under attack. Security code red.
I'm
I'm actually now
stunned.
heading up and over towards where Nesbit and I'm sorry, where Artie and Mike are, and I've got a rather odd blank stare on my face.
All right, Artie and Dobson, and Becca.
Do the stun grenades have any effect on robots, androids, whatever type of?
It can jumble their.
Okay, then yeah.
optical things.
Do I have a stun grenade?
You do.
Okay, then I am going to toss it.
If she tosses it, can I try to catch it and throw it?
You're still a little too far for that.
Okay.
So you can roll. You just get your military training for this.
Okay.
In addition, combat.
Yes. 38 out of 59.
Okay, Nesbit and Burkoff, you can both give the body saves. This thing with the body save and fails.
Thankfully, it's a stun grenade, but still.
Yeah, fail. 70.
All right,
Terrible.
Nesbit and Burkoff, you were both stunned from the grenade. Dobson, what are you up to?
Okay. So I'm a little confused. Is Obi down with them? Like he turned around the corner?
No, Obi is up on your level and he's walking towards you.
And I made a mistake. I thought she was throwing the grenade at me.
Oh, okay. I was like, I was slightly confused. All right.
I I don't look
And
hostile. I just look like I'm walking towards you.
The android down the way that I already shot it is still standing.
Yep.
Yeah, shoot it again.
Okay, firearms.
That is a fail.
All right, now that it's kind of on the ground, you're finding it a little bit of a harder target to hit.
Yeah, and I'm a maintenance man. I just have this gun because they gave it to me.
All right, Obi.
I'm
Yeah.
going to. Sorry, were you going to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, you're
I'm walking towards them, and as I get close to them, I'm going to say, security protocols are in place. You need to leave this level. And I walk past them.
What? Obi, you got to come with us.
Dobson, didn't Nesbitt say Obi had been compromised?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just hoping that maybe we're gonna. Well, I know he was an odd android, but I did like him. I didn't. Shit.
Am I? I guess I gotta type that. Okay. I walked past you, and I assumed that you looked back towards the robot that you're shooting at.
Yeah.
Okay. Using speed and combat, I'm going to try to grab Mike and throw him off the.
Oh wow. Okay.
your combat, Dobson.
I got a 70, so I failed, but I certainly suddenly make a move at him.
You want to
Something
use
to grab
combat,
it.
or you want to just try to take it with armor?
Me? Yeah. I'll if he makes a move on me, yeah, I'll combat. Is this just like just because it's hand to hand or like straight? Okay.
I'm trying to grapple you, yeah.
All right. 37 success.
All right, so Obi goes for you, and you maneuver yourself to where you sent Obi over the edge.
Sorry, buddy.
Do I do damage? How do I? Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to take 2d10.
Took 6 points of damage.
I'm going to call out to the security android. Be advised, prisoners 1, 2, 3 have been subdued. Will be returning them to their cells at this time. And I'm going to haul Mike or Dobson as if I am carrying him, as if he is a prisoner.
This is yeah, sure. Like what she said.
And it looks at you and it says, facility under attack, security compromised, threat level maximum, deploying additional security.
Threats
And you-
subdued.
You see a couple of the labs up on your same level across the way start to open.
Shit. We got to get out of here.
Doc,
And-
Artie, Mike.
And
At this
emerging
point-
from 3 of those labs, you see things that are, you see people shuffle out who are fused with all sorts of machines. You see 2 people fused together that have a couple of weapons attached to them. These 3 homunculi emerge out of the labs across from you.
Oh, fuck
Christ.
this.
Do we need
Let's
to make a
just-
sanity check?
Yep, sanity and panic.
That's a fail on the
That's a
sanity.
failure.
Fail.
So how
How
much?
much sanity?
1d6.
And then a panic check
and a
as well?
panic.
All right.
No, there's no way I'm passing this.
Ooh, no, that's all.
I'm not capable of passing a panic check anymore with 2d10. So just roll.
Yeah, no, not with what I've got anymore.
All right, if you want to roll your panics.
Right. Just trying to remember what that roll looked like.
Uh,
2d10 added together plus your panic level.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
I failed the sanity, but I succeeded the panic.
Okay, so you reduce your stress
27.
by 1. Hold it together. 27.
38, I think.
Yeah, you go into cardiac arrest. The stress overwhelms you. RT with a 27, that is a compound data corruption, so you're going to roll again.
Same
same
roll,
as I got.
same
the
values.
same roll.
6 plus 24, 30.
And again, you shut down from the overwhelm. Burkoff, how are you doing?
I failed. My roll wasn't terrible. But I've jaunted from 4 to 38. It was quite a jaunt.
Wait, you rolled 38 on your...
I ended up with a new madness level of 38. Is that? I rolled an 8 and then I rolled a 2d10 and I thought that was how.
Oh, it's so did you fail your panic?
Yes.
Okay, so then you roll 2d10 and you add whatever your stress is.
And rolling the 0 counts as 10, right?
Correct, because this is 2d10, not
Okay.
percentile.
I just want to make sure because, yeah, so, whew.
Right. So, okay. 22 is actually the result.
Okay, 22, paranoid. For the next 10 days, whenever a character joins your group, even if they left for only a short period of time, you make a fear save or gain 1 stress.
I take it I'm probably dead.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
feeling your heart is stopping. The only people around you are currently stunned.
Yeah, I can't help.
It's fine. Like,
So
bring down this fucking place.
I get up and now I run for the. Are these levels connected by ladders?
Yeah.
Okay. I run for the ladder and I'm going to go up the ladder and straight at Mike.
All right. Do I see him coming?
Yeah, you can see him go. And again,
I shoot at him.
Terrible things have come out from the labs across the way. So shoot at him, roll firearms.
Can I try to dodge? I got speed.
You're gonna roll armor.
It's armor.
43 out of 56. Success.
So 33, that's a critical success.
What? I got
Roll
43
doubles.
out of 56. So I got
43. Okay, roll 4d10.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So 10, 20, 28. Yeah, 36.
36 damage, Obi.
Right. That leaves me still with 10.
But yeah, you are pretty well riddled.
I am still. No, now I'm going.
There's behind. So
Usually there's supposed to
Burkoff.
be a fear roll if I'm coming at him now.
Yeah, if you've taken half your health in one hit,
Yes.
you need to make a panic check.
And I want over. Oh wait.
You want
I
to
do
over
a
your
panic
stress. Yeah, panic check. You roll 2d10, add it together. You want over your stress.
No. So
All
I
right,
do a panic.
2d10 and add your stress.
That's 21. Which is
Becomes nihilistically worshipful of the source of danger.
I love Gaia. She's awesome.
Oh no! In this case, it's Dobson. Dobson was what was attacking you.
So I become worshipful.
Yeah, this is a the guns
Nihilistic.
that the humans are using is pointing to the meaninglessness of it all.
Mike, don't shoot. We can die together. It doesn't mean anything anyway. We'll just reboot.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Fuck that, Obi. I'm not. I'm gonna. Can I? So, Artie's stunned. Doc is stunned.
Doc is starting to come to at this point.
Okay.
Way below.
I'll. How far away does everybody think? Like, could I go and help Doc up and like try and get out of there?
There's Obi between you and there. There are these 3 hulking monstrosities that are making their way over to you. And Doc is on a lower level.
Okay. I'm going to try and make my way towards Doc. Does it look like, so Layla looks like she's done. And I mean, push come to shove, it's humans over androids. So I'm heading towards Doc to see if I can help him get the fuck out of here.
So
All right,
you're gonna have. Is he gonna jump?
Yeah, fuck it.
All right, 2d10.
2d10. All right, so that is 10.
Okay, you take 10 damage as you clatter to the lower level.
And
All
I'm
right.
following him.
Yep. Are you jumping, Obi, or are you?
I'll jump. If he jumps, I'll jump.
Okay, 2d10 damage as you jump over the side.
11. That's it.
Okay,
I hit the
that
ground
is
and I crumble.
That is the end of Obi.
My head falls off.
Doc, as your vision's finally starting to clear, you feel Dobson like grab a hold of you. So
I got you, Doc.
And you see one of the things that came out of the labs has slopped over the edge and is picking itself back up and is making its way towards you.
It's making its way towards what?
You two.
Us.
Yes.
Kill it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll just be doing the whole like kind of like spraying at whatever as we're trying to get our way out of there.
All right, so you know the layout of this place, so you're kind of heading where you know a door leads back into the prison cells.
Okay.
And yeah, you're firing, so if you want to give me combat.
Yeah, I got a 1.
All right, so you chew into this thing as you hear its 2 mouths scream in pain. And you make it through a door. And there's like the room that you enter is dark, but the second you enter, it starts to light up. And there's this little reception desk facing another door, and this reception android kind of activates. It says, "Welcome to Gaia Research Group. How may I be of service to you today?"
You can just fuck right off.
All right, and you just go past it and out into the block.
Yeah.
Okay, so you emerge into prison, into a block of cells, dragging the doctor. So at this point,
Yeah, all right. You all right, Doc?
Sucks. Come on. Get out of here.
All right. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep. I guess.
Okay, so you drag him out,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you hear the warden's voice go over the speaker. Station has been compromised. Activating highest breach protocols. Nuclear reactor will go critical in 10 minutes.
Fuck. Fuck. All right. Are there escape pods for like work personnel? No.
No, you got to go up to A.
All right. And up we go.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is a crisis. You need to pass. Each of you need to pass 3 speed checks before you fail 3 speed checks.
We each do, or just
Yeah,
me?
both of you separately.
Okay. Speed. So pass 3 before I fail 3. All right.
But if I fail the first one, I fail the first one.
That's a success.
Mhm.
Fail. Fail. Success. Okay. Here we go. And success. That's 3. 3 before.
Okay. Burkoff.
Oh, fails. Stop. Start to bottom. Fail, fail, fail. Berserk.
All right. So Dobson, as you make your way up, you seem to have lost Burkoff somewhere behind you.
Oh yeah, I was just shouting out behind me. Doc, what? God damn it! Fuck. And I'm just survival instinct kicking in. Just gonna keep going.
And Burkoff, you can give me a panic check to see if you can press on. You failed the crisis. You were.
Oh, that's a great roll. It's 15. So I will press on.
All right. So you managed to keep your panic intact. And Dobson, you get that door open up into the next level, and you see Burkoff running. Do you wait for him?
Yeah. Come on, Doc.
All right, and you haul Doc up, and you two sprint up, and you get on the last shuttle off of Tartarus Station.
Oh shit.
And as the shuttle pulls away, you see a brilliant flash as it goes nuclear. And that is where we're going to end our story.
Done.
Oh,
Now the
God,
explanation.
please.
So, on that mining planet, where all 4 of those people came from, they had discovered a life form. And these 4 were taking people to feed to it to see what it did. Gaia was in the system, and they had known about these things. These things restructure biological material to build nests and to reproduce. So that thing was going to start spawning more of those tube things. They're going out. And so, but Gaia was using them to see what can you do with it. So there was a doctor. There was one human employee of Gaia nested inside of that bunker, but he had long since him a little touched in the head. And essentially, when the hammer came down, they had brought some of that with them, the material. And eventually, the fate brought those four together. And they decided to implant one of them with it so it could grow.
So I was right. Cool.
And then called to it. They were studying these things, so they called out to it to come and use it to get them out. But then at that point, they were leaderless. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know where Everest went. So one of them decided to be a sacrifice for the rest to escape, but they didn't get very far because anyway.
And led to, that really was. Oh,
I failed my touring thing, so I lost all touch with humanity. And then you turned me off, and then you put Gaia in my head. So from that point on, I was like Gaia. I was like, I'm just going to stop you all.
Yeah, no, I was a little bit confused as to like whether it was a plant from like if Gaia was like experimenting on the prisoners or not, but apparently
probably.
They were doing naughty things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Monson Security had a contract with Gaia to where they were selling people off to them, essentially.
Of course they were.
Now, was that the same thing that those monstrosities inside the labs was?
Yeah, so they had those same creatures on the surface of the mining planet that those four miners discovered and started tampering with. Gaia had known about it before everybody else. That's why they showed up in this. Like they had learned about it and they went there too. So they were doing their little experiments, seeing what it would do with human tissue, because they build things, so they want to see what they build.
Cool. Our players included David Gassaway, Jen Obertaz, Holly Buteau, Patrick O'Brien, and myself with Morgan Llewellyn as the Warden. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the strange and terrifying Mothership role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.